two main ways to communicate in a virtual team, right? There's synchronous communication, what we're doing right now, video calls. And there's asynchronous communication. Asynchronous communication is focused more on things that are written down or are recorded that kind of get transmitted, in a delayed form. That's the whole async part. It's kind of delayed communication, right? So how to encourage that? I think right now, with everything going on with this emergency around the world, it's important to lean a lot into synchronous communication and video calls because people are lonely, they're stuck at home. So it's important to build and keep those connections up. This is not advice that I would normally give a remote team, right? Of course, they need to build those connections too, but on a longer time. So for people that just temporarily work from home, try to lean a lot into synchronous communication because that's very important right now to keep the connections with your colleagues up because it's new to you, because you don't know how it's all going out, right? So be aware that, this is something to be aware of. Async communication, on the other hand, is very important when you're split or distributed across various time zones. You can use it for a lot of things, and it's very, very important for a lot of things to have documented and to have like everything that basically happens in your company kind of in a written or recorded form so that others can check up on it. How I would start with it is maybe just use it for stand-ups, for example. Stand-ups are a very good idea because sometimes, synchronous stand-ups, they are not really useful in remote work because of, especially in a sync format. I think stand-ups are important to share what you're doing, but you don't have to do that in a synchronous way because sometimes you can't. For some, it's the morning. For some, it's the evening, right? So try to do your stand-ups in an asynchronous way. Write down what you did, share it with the team, whatever way you want. There's Slack bots, there's documents you can use. Try to do that. This could be like initial way to test things out. Document things, decisions that happen in your team, in your company. Write them down and sort them into folders, just so you've got a structure where your information lives. Another way you could test this out and encourage it is after meetings, don't just go out of the video call and that's it. Try to write up what happened. If you didn't take notes, try to write up a quick line of, hey, those were the decisions made, those are the people that we have to follow up, blah blah blah, and then just write it down, share it with everyone that was involved. And then you have a record of what happened, and someone that maybe didn't attend, can see what happened. So just writing those things down is also quite important. So we at Buffer, we use Dropbox Paper for basically like meeting notes, technical like RFCs, technical plans, how to work on something, or like a paper where all our design decisions are in. So it's more like a short-lived document kind of thing, like Google Docs, how you would use Google Docs. Then we use Notion for more of our company wiki, where we have how is our vacation policy, what's, our salary formula, and what's our engineering on-call schedule look like. So all those things live in Notion. And that's what we use Notion for. And then another thing that's very helpful for async communication, what we use is Threads, Threads. There's similar tools, for example, like Carrot. I think there's one or two others, carrot.io. And what they do is basically they replace email for us. So we don't use email anymore. And in Threads, because this question is about decisions and stakeholders, you have different spaces and you can ping people and involve people like with an add mention, which is nothing specific. But what that helps us with is if you are in a message, on the right you see the person you pinged and the person that are in that space. If they've seen the message, if they haven't seen the message, if they want to follow up. So it gives you it sets the expectations of like, okay, what's going on, and has that person, seen my message, understood my message. So it kind of helps you to understand, okay, stakeholders saw the message or they didn't, like this visibility of